The sirens woke Jack Harmon from a dead sleep. His small quarters in the Proxima B mining colony shook as something massive struck nearby. He rolled from his bunk, hitting the metal floor as dust rained from the ceiling. All personnel to emergency stations. This is not a drill, the colony AI announced, its voice eerily calm. Jack grabbed his work boots and jacket, stumbling into the corridor where miners and technicians ran in panic. Red emergency lights pulsed along the walls. Through the viewport at the end of the hall, he saw them. Crystalline ships, dozens of them, descending through Proxima's rust-colored clouds. Jack! His brother Sam sprinted toward him, face streaked with sweat. The defense grid is down. They took out the main generator first. Another explosion rocked the colony. A support beam crashed down, narrowly missing a group of fleeing colonists. Who are they? Jack asked, steadying himself against the wall. No idea. Command called them Vorrath before communications cut out. Sam pulled a data chip from his pocket. Listen, the science team recorded their attack pattern. This might help Earth understand what we're dealing with. The colony shuddered again. Cracks spread across the ceiling. We need to get to the emergency shuttles, Jack said, pocketing the chip. They ran through the chaos, helping fallen colonists along the way. The mining facility had never been built for war. Its thin walls and exposed systems made it a death trap under bombardment. At the main junction, Sam stopped suddenly. The civilian quarters, the families. Jack grabbed his arm. The evacuation teams will handle it. Look around, Jack. There are no evacuation teams. Sam pulled free. Get that data to the shuttle. I'll bring as many as I can. Before Jack could argue, Sam was gone, running toward the family quarters, where the off-duty miners lived with their children. Jack hesitated only a moment before continuing toward the shuttle bay. The doors were jammed halfway open. He squeezed through to find the bay in flames, 2 shuttles already destroyed. Only one remained intact. As he ran for it, the outer doors of the bay exploded inward. Through the smoke and debris stepped creatures Jack had never seen before, tall, with segmented bodies and multiple limbs. Their armor gleamed with the same crystalline structure as their ships. The Vorrath had arrived. Jack ducked behind a cargo container as they fired strange weapons that seemed to distort the air itself. Colony security forces returned fire, but their bullets bounced harmlessly off the aliens' armor. A military transport suddenly dropped through the hole in the bay ceiling, its guns blazing. Earth forces had responded faster than expected. The Vorrath scattered for cover. This way. A soldier in combat armor waved from the transport's open door. Jack ran for it, zigzagging between containers. He was halfway there when he saw Sam enter the bay, leading a group of children and parents. "Sam," Jack shouted. "The transport." Sam nodded and directed the civilians toward safety. As the last child boarded, a Vorrath warrior emerged behind Sam. Jack screamed a warning, but too late. The alien weapon fired, and Sam's body contorted in impossible ways before collapsing. Jack lunged forward, but strong arms pulled him into the transport as it lifted off. "We can't save him," a voice said in his ear as the doors closed. Through the viewport, Jack watched the colony shrink below them, secondary explosions blooming across its surface. The data chip felt heavy in his pocket. Hours later, aboard the military cruiser Defiant, Admiral Reyes studied Jack with tired eyes. "This is the 3rd outpost they've hit," she said. "We've been trying diplomacy for months, while they've been expanding through our territory. What do they want?" Jack asked, his voice hollow. "We don't know. But thanks to the data your brother died for, we might have a chance." She slid a tablet across the table. "We're developing a program. Experimental. Dangerous, but it might give us an edge." Jack looked at the screen. "Neural enhancement. Combat integration. Survival rate 40%. I volunteer," he said without hesitation. Pain shot through Jack's body as the neural connectors linked with his spine. He bit down on the rubber mouthpiece, tasting blood as the machines hummed around him. The lab techs watched from behind safety glass, their faces grim. Neural pathways accepting connection. A female voice announced. Subject vital signs unstable, but within acceptable parameters. Jack's vision blurred, then sharpened beyond normal human ability. He could count the dust particles floating in the air, could hear the heartbeats of the doctors 20 feet away. Final integration commencing, the voice said. Fire seemed to replace the blood in his veins. Jack arched against the restraints, a scream trapped in his throat, then darkness. He woke 3 days later. Congratulations, Dr. Winters said, checking his vitals. You're the first successful neural-enhanced soldier. 4 others died during the procedure. Jack sat up slowly, feeling different, stronger, faster. His thoughts processed at incredible speed. When do I start? He asked. You already have a team waiting. Strike Team Omega consisted of 12 survivors from Vorrath attacks. Like Jack, they all had nothing left to lose. Unlike Jack, their enhancements were external. Combat armor with strength amplifiers and tactical systems. Training pushed them beyond human limits. Jack learned to use his neural link to process battlefield data instantly. His reflexes became too fast for normal humans to track. You're our secret weapon, Commander Walsh told them during the final briefing. The Vorrath have taken Europa. They're mining something there. Your job is to find out what and shut it down. The dropship shook violently as it entered Europa's thin atmosphere. Jack checked his weapon, a pulse rifle designed to penetrate Vorrath armor. Beside him sat Ellie Vance, the team's tech specialist. Her family had died on Mars Colony when the Vorrath attacked. Scared? She asked. No, Jack replied, surprised to realize it was true. Fear required uncertainty. His enhanced mind calculated probabilities, risks, solutions. No room for fear. 30 seconds to drop, the pilot called. The ship's bay doors opened to reveal Europa's icy surface, now scarred by Vorrath mining operations. Massive crystalline structures rose from excavation sites. Go, go, go! Walsh shouted. They jumped, using thruster packs to control their descent. Jack landed first, his enhanced body absorbing the impact. The team formed a perimeter as Vorrath alarm systems blared. We have 5 minutes before they organize a response, Jack said, his neural link analyzing the facility. This way. They moved through the complex, encountering light resistance. Jack's enhanced reflexes made the Vorrath warriors seem slow, predictable. The team reached the central mining facility with minimal casualties. What are they doing here? Walsh wondered as they entered the main chamber. Massive drills extracted a glowing blue element from Europa's core. Vorrath scientists worked at control stations, monitoring the process. I need access to their systems, Ellie said, moving to a terminal. Jack provided cover while she worked. His neural link suddenly detected a pattern in the Vorrath data streams. Without thinking, he placed his hand on the alien console. Information flooded his mind. Jack, what are you doing? Walsh hissed. I can read it, Jack said, amazed. The neural link is translating their language. Alarms blared. Vorrath reinforcements approached. We need to go, Walsh ordered. Now. Jack downloaded what data he could before they retreated, fighting their way back to the extraction point. The dropship appeared through the methane clouds, laying down covering fire. Back on the Defiant, scientists analyzed Jack's download. This is worse than we thought, Admiral Reyes said, her face pale. The element they're mining is part of a superweapon. According to these schematics, they're building something that could collapse our sun. Jack stared at the holographic display, showing the Vorrath device. Why? He asked. Why attack us at all? A commotion at the door interrupted them. Guards dragged in a captured Vorrath, its limbs bound. Perhaps we can ask him, Reyes said. The alien's compound eyes fixed on Jack. Its mandibles clicked in, what might have been laughter. "We attacked because we must," it said in broken English. "Humans are dangerous, too adaptable, too unpredictable. The Empire fears what you will become." The human fleet jumped into position around the Vorrath forward base, a massive space station orbiting a dead moon. Hundreds of ships, from small fighters to the flagship Intrepid, where Admiral Reyes commanded the assault. Jack watched from the dropship window as the battle began, space lighting up with weapons fire. "Strike Team Omega. Prepare for deployment," Commander Walsh's voice came through the comms. "Our window opens in 60 seconds. Jack checked his gear one last time. The neural link hummed in his mind, feeding him tactical data. Beside him, Ellie adjusted her armor. "You okay?" she asked. "Just thinking about what the Vorrath said. About fearing us. They should fear us," Ellie replied, her eyes hard. "After what they did to our colonies." The dropship rocked as enemy fire grazed its shields. The pilot swore, diving toward the station's docking bay. 30 seconds, Walsh shouted. "Remember the mission. Get to the command center, disable their defenses, extract any intel on the superweapon." The ship crashed into the docking bay, skidding across the floor. The doors blew open, and Strike Team Omega poured out, immediately engaging Vorrath defenders. Jack moved with enhanced speed, his rifle dropping 3 aliens before they could react. "Push forward," Walsh ordered as they cleared the bay. They fought through corridors, the station's artificial gravity fluctuating from battle damage. Jack's neural link interfaced with the station systems, guiding them toward the command center. "Something's wrong," he said suddenly, stopping at a junction. "The security protocols are too easy to bypass." "Maybe we got lucky," Walsh replied. "When are we ever lucky?" Jack muttered, but they pressed on. The command center doors opened without resistance. The team entered cautiously, weapons ready. The room appeared empty, control panels blinking silently. "I don't like this," Ellie whispered. Jack's enhanced senses detected movement a split second before the ambush. "Down!" he shouted, tackling Ellie as energy weapons fired from hidden compartments. Half the team died in the first volley. Walsh took a hit to the chest, his armor melting. Jack rolled behind a console, pulling Ellie with him. "It's a trap!" he yelled into his comm. "Abort mission! Repeat, abort mission!" Outside, the space battle had turned against the human fleet. The Vorrath had been waiting for them. Jack's neural link connected to the station systems. He could see through security cameras, access defense protocols. An idea formed. "Cover me," he told Ellie. "I need 30 seconds." She nodded, laying down suppressing fire while Jack focused his mind. Through the neural link, he seized control of the station's internal defense systems, turning them against the Vorrath. Throughout the station, security weapons activated, targeting anything with Vorrath biosignatures. "Now's our chance," Jack said. "We need to move." The surviving team members fought their way back toward the docking bay. Jack's comm crackled with Admiral Reyes' voice. "Strike Team, the fleet is taking heavy losses. We can't maintain position. You have 10 minutes to extract." They reached the bay to find their dropship destroyed. Across the hangar, a Vorrath shuttle remained intact. "Can you fly that?" Jack asked Ellie. "I can try." They sprinted across the open space. A blast hit the floor near Jack, sending him sprawling. He looked up to see a massive Vorrath warrior approaching, its armor more elaborate than the others. Commander Xavik, Jack realized, recognizing the markings from intelligence briefings. The Vorrath commander fired again. Jack rolled away, returning fire, but his shots bounced off Xavik's advanced armor. "Jack, come on!" Ellie called from the shuttle's ramp. He turned to run when Xavik's voice stopped him. "Your efforts are futile, human. Your fleet is already defeated." On his neural display, Jack saw the Intrepid taking critical damage. Admiral Reyes' voice came through, calm despite the chaos. "This is Admiral Reyes. I'm setting collision course with the Vorrath flagship. All remaining vessels, retreat to Earth. This is our last stand. The Intrepid's engines flared as it drove straight into the Vorrath command ship. The explosion temporarily blinded Jack's enhanced vision. "Jack, we have to go now," Ellie shouted. He ran for the shuttle, SciFi's shots following him. As they lifted off, Jack saw the human fleet jumping away, leaving their dead behind. "We're separated from the fleet," Ellie said, piloting the alien craft. "Where to?" Before Jack could answer, SciFi's face appeared on the shuttle's communication screen. "Did you think escape would be so easy?" the Vorrath commander said. "Your companion made sure of that." Jack turned to Ellie, confused. Her expression changed, hardening as she pulled a weapon on him. "I'm sorry, Jack," she said, her eyes suddenly reflecting light like a Vorrath's, "but I had no choice." Jack woke in a cell aboard the Vorrath mothership, his head pounding. A neural link felt dead in his mind, blocked by some kind of dampening field. His arms were bound to a metal chair bolted to the floor. "The human awakens," a voice said. Commander SciFi stepped into view, his insectoid face unreadable. Behind him stood Ellie, her eyes downcast. "Why?" Jack asked her, his voice raw. "Show him," SciFi ordered. Ellie looked up, pulling back her hair to reveal a slight ridge along her temple, the skin there faintly iridescent like Vorrath exoskeleton. "Half-breed," SciFi explained. "Her mother was taken for study before your people even knew we existed. The offspring proved useful as infiltrators. They threatened to kill my human father if I didn't cooperate," Ellie said quietly. "I never wanted anyone to die." Jack struggled against his restraints. "All those people on the colonies, our team, they died because of you." "Enough," SciFi interrupted. "Your mind will now be probed. The neural enhancements make you valuable. We will learn how humans fight, how they think." A machine lowered from the ceiling, needle-like probes extending toward Jack's head. He fought uselessly as they pierced his skin. Pain exploded behind his eyes as memories flashed through his mind. Wars, centuries of human conflict, adaptations, survival against all odds. The probe dug deeper, extracting knowledge of human resilience, ingenuity, determination. "Fascinating," SciFi said, watching data stream across a monitor. "Your species has spent its entire history fighting itself. No wonder you adapt so quickly to war with others." The probes retracted. Jack slumped forward, blood trickling from his nose. "Take him back to his cell," SciFi ordered. "We will continue tomorrow." Guards dragged Jack down a corridor of the massive ship. His enhanced senses were returning slowly, fighting through the dampening field. He memorized the route, noting security checkpoints and patrol patterns. In his cell, Jack tested his restraints. The Vorrath had underestimated his enhanced strength. With his neural link partially functioning, he could feel the ship's systems at the edge of his consciousness. Hours later, the cell door opened. Ellie entered alone. "Come to finish the job?" Jack asked bitterly. "To help you escape," she replied, deactivating his restraints. "I never wanted this war. Neither side knows the whole truth. Why should I trust you?" "Because right now, I'm your only chance." She handed him a Vorrath weapon. "The dampening field will be down for maintenance in 3 minutes. When your neural link fully activates, you can access the ship's systems." Jack stood, rubbing his wrists. "What's the catch?" "The Emperor is aboard this ship. He rarely leaves the homeworld. This might be our only chance to end this war." The lights flickered. Jack felt his neural link surge back to life, the ship's system suddenly visible in his mind like a three-dimensional map. "This way," he said, leading them through service corridors he'd never seen, but somehow knew existed. They avoided patrols, Jack's enhanced reflexes allowing them to move silently through the massive vessel. He accessed security systems, creating false alarms to draw guards away from their path. "The Emperor's chambers are ahead," Ellie whispered as they reached an ornate doorway guarded by elite warriors. "We'll never get past them," Jack said. "We don't need to." Ellie pointed to a maintenance shaft. "That leads to the environmental controls for his private chambers." They crawled through narrow ducts until they reached a small control room. Jack connected to the system, bypassing security protocols. The wall panel slid open, revealing the Emperor's private sanctuary. The Vorrath ruler turned, surprised, his guards reaching for weapons. "Stop," the Emperor said, raising a clawed hand. "I have been expecting this." Jack aimed his weapon. "You've been slaughtering humans across the galaxy." "To prevent a greater slaughter," the Emperor replied. "Our seers predicted that humanity would destroy our civilization within a century. We attacked first out of necessity." "That's a lie," Ellie said suddenly. "Show him the true prophecy." The Emperor's compound eyes narrowed. "You know nothing, half-breed." "I know you altered the prophecy to justify war," she said. "To consolidate your power." Alarms blared throughout the ship. Commander Tsavik's voice came over the communication system. "The human fleet has returned with reinforcements. All warriors to battle stations." The Emperor turned to a console, revealing his back to Jack. It was the opening they needed. "Now," Ellie whispered. Jack lunged forward, but not toward the Emperor. Instead, he placed his hand on the alien computer terminal, his neural link connecting directly to the mothership's core systems. "What are you doing?" the Emperor demanded. "Ending this war," Jack replied as information flooded his mind. One way or another. Jack's mind merged with the mothership's systems, information flooding his consciousness. The Emperor lunged toward him, but Ellie intercepted, her hybrid strength surprising the Vorrath ruler. "Guards!" the Emperor shrieked. The door burst open. Commander Tsarik entered with 4 elite warriors, weapons raised. "Step away from the terminal, human," Tsarik ordered. Jack ignored him, diving deeper into the ship's network. Through security feeds, he watched the battle raging outside. Earth's remaining ships fought desperately against the Vorrath Armada. They were outnumbered, outgunned, but still fighting. "I can broadcast to the entire fleet," Jack said, his voice strained. "Show them the truth." Tsarik fired. The energy blast struck Jack's shoulder, burning through his suit. He stumbled, but maintained contact with the terminal. "Kill them both," the Emperor commanded. Ellie grabbed a ceremonial weapon from the wall, engaging the guards while Jack worked. Her movements were fluid, combining human unpredictability with Vorrath strength. "Whatever you're doing, hurry," she shouted, blocking a strike that would have severed her head. Jack found what he needed, the original prophecy, hidden in encrypted files. The Emperor had indeed altered it, twisting its meaning to justify his war. The true prediction spoke not of human destruction, but of cooperation that would end the Emperor's absolute rule. "Transmitting now," Jack said. His neural link broadcast the truth to every ship in the Vorrath fleet. The unaltered prophecy, the Emperor's deception, all of it streaming directly to the warriors, fighting and dying for a lie. Tsarik hesitated, his weapon lowering slightly as the information reached him. "Is this true?" he asked the Emperor. "They are human lies," the Emperor hissed. Jack pushed harder, adding his own memories to the broadcast. The destruction of human colonies, the deaths of innocents, but also humanity's capacity for forgiveness, for alliance, for peace. The ship rocked as something struck it. Through the viewport, Jack saw Vorrath ships turning on each other. The fleet was fracturing. "You've doomed us all," the Emperor said, backing away. "No," Jack replied. "I've given us all a chance." Tsarik suddenly turned his weapon on the Emperor. "You betrayed the Empire, led us into a needless war." The Emperor lunged at Jack in desperation. Ellie intercepted again, but this time the Emperor's claws found her throat. Blood sprayed across the console as she fell. "Ellie!" Jack screamed. Rage fueled his connection to the ship. He seized control of the mothership's weapon systems, targeting them not at Earth's fleet, but at the Emperor's loyal vessels. Kazavik watched in amazement. You could destroy us all. Why target only some? Because that's what humans do, Jack said through gritted teeth. We fight those who threaten us, not those who could be allies. The Emperor made one final attempt, leaping at the terminal to sever Jack's connection. Kazavik fired, his blast catching the Emperor mid-air. The ruler of the Vorrath Empire collapsed, his exoskeleton cracking on the metal floor. Jack knelt beside Ellie, cradling her body. I'm sorry I doubted you. She smiled weakly. My father would be proud. He always said humans were worth fighting for. Stay with me, Jack pleaded. Finish it, she whispered, her eyes dimming. End the war. With one hand still holding Ellie, Jack reached back to the terminal. He accessed the super weapon controls, the device meant to collapse Earth's sun. With a few commands, he reprogrammed its targeting system. What are you doing now? Kazavik asked. Making sure this never happens again. The super weapon activated, but instead of targeting Earth, it fired precise beams at military installations across Vorrath space. Not enough to destroy their civilization, just enough to end their capacity for interstellar war. 6 months later, Jack stood before a memorial on Earth. Names of the fallen scrolled across its surface. His brother Sam, Admiral Reyes, Commander Walsh, and finally, Ellie Vance. A Vorrath delegation approached, led by Kazavik, now head of the new Vorrath Council. The peace treaty is ready for signing, Kazavik said. Your leaders await us. Jack nodded, touching Ellie's name one last time. She would be proud, Kazavik added. The alliance was her dream, and my brother's nightmare, Jack replied. But he would understand. We fight to protect, not destroy. They walked together toward the United Earth headquarters, former enemies now allies. The stars are vast, Jack said, looking up at the sky. Room enough for all of us, if we're wise enough to share them. Indeed, Kazavik agreed. Though one lesson remains for any who might threaten Earth in the future. What's that? The warning we ignored to our peril. Never challenge humans. They do not know how to surrender.